So hello and welcome to Monday's Yoga Club. As always, your practice is at your own risk, and just do pay attention to your own body, how you're feeling. It's fine to sit anything out, and if anything isn't feeling right, just ease back, taking the lighter options. Also, just make sure you've got enough room around you so that you're not injuring yourself as you move around your room. So we're going to have a special class tonight, in that we're going to be focusing on things to do immediately before you go running or riding, and the best things to do after you have run or ridden. So these are going to be this is the things that I would be doing before I go out, and the things that I would do after I have been out running. So standing up. So there's always quite a lot of controversy around whether you should warm up before you go running or riding. And the general advice is if you don't warm up, that's absolutely fine, because you should start slowly and give your muscles a chance to warm up. If you do any warm up, then you should make sure it's dynamic and that you're not holding stretches for a long time, that you're doing something that involves movement. So there's two things that I would do before going out that allow you to warm up absolutely everything. So if you stay facing forward, I'm just going to come sideways on. The first thing I would do is stand with my feet hip distance apart, hands relaxed by my side. And then from here I would lift my arms up towards the ceiling, reaching my hands up and back, so I'm tilting my rib cage up to the ceiling. I would then swoop forward and down, sticking my bum out as I do, bending my knees. As my hands come past my knees, I straighten my legs, bringing my arms up to point to the ceiling, and then bring that down and back up, bending my knees and then straightening up, stretching up. And then take that with the breath. So every exhale, you're coming down, and every inhale, you're lifting it all the way back up. Keeping that going with your breath. Remembering the legs straighten at the end, so you're coming into that ski jump position with your arms stretching up. So this is warming up the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, giving the spine a bend, getting everything going, elevating the heart rate, connecting you with your breathing as well, if you're aligning this with the breath. So just taking one more of those, finishing on the up, and then lowering your hands. And as you can feel by the elevation of your breath, that really does get everything working and going. Then with your feet hip distance apart, to finish getting the spine mobilized, just taking a simple twist side to side. So starting to turn left and right. Arms are relaxed, they just lift to where momentum takes them. Taking your gaze over your shoulder, if that's okay with your balance, so that you're warming up the top of your spine. And taking that as fast as your balance allows. Then starting to slow that down, and then coming to face the front. So that's us all warm and ready to go. So imagining now that you've gone out, you've done your run or your cycle ride, and you are back now ready to cool down, getting everything stretched, ready for the rest of your day. So the first thing that you would want to do after you get back in is some sun salutations. So preparing for your sun salutations, coming to the front of your mat, hands relaxed by your side. Sun salutations are an ideal first thing to do because they transition you from movement to then the stiller stretches that we do later. They also are great because if you've only got 5 minutes, in that 5 minutes you will be able to stretch everything. So hands relaxed by your side, crown of your head lifts, shoulder blades relaxed, top of your chest just tilting up towards the ceiling. We'll begin with our 2 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, bringing your palms together at the center of your chest, lifting your elbows, relaxing your shoulders. Stretch and reach your hands up, looking between your hands. Lift your arms higher, taking your arms and armpits back, tilting your rib cage up. From your hips, stretch all the way forward and all the way down. Bend your knees as much as you need, fingertips touching the mat, neck muscles relaxed, head, hands heavy. Taking your right leg all the way back. Lift your gaze, relax your hips, pressing your right heel away. Then send your left foot back. First down face dog, hips lift on high, hands pressed down into the ground, heels pressed down towards the ground, taking your weight towards your legs. Coming forward to plank, looking down between your hands in plank, then lowering your knees, followed by your chest. Make contact with chin or forehead on the ground, pressing forward as you lift your face and lift your chest to a cobra back bend, tucking your toes and lifting your hips. Maybe taking them back to your heels first, or straight up towards the ceiling. Down face dog again, hands pressing down, heels pressing down, hips lifting. We'll take our calf stretches here, bending your right knee, and then as you exhale next, press your left heel firmly to the ground. Inhale as you swap that over, so now you're bending your left knee, exhaling right heel to the mat. One more each side. Inhale as you swap, exhale, left heel presses down. Inhale, swap, exhale the right heel. Really feeling that stretch in your right calf. Inhaling, swap, exhale, left heel to the ground. Inhale as you swap, exhale the right heel. Pressing your left heel down to join the right. Reset your dog if you have the energy, lifting your hips, pressing your heels down, chest towards your knees, looking between your hands. Right foot comes through, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, finding yourself back in forward fold, relaxing over your legs. Reach and stretching all the way up, looking between your hands, tilting your rib cage to the ceiling, then hands come down. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretch and reach up and back. Exhale from the hips all the way forward and all the way down. Left leg back. Gaze lifts, hips relax. Right leg back, down face dog. Hips lift on high, chest towards your knees, hands pressing down and forward away from you. Come forward to plank, shoulder blades relax, a little bit of core, drawing your navel to your spine. If you're feeling strong, you can take your elbows back and come down in one line, or knees, then chest. Press forward as you lift your face, lift your chest, shoulder blades ease down your back in cobra. Then tucking your toes, lifting your hips. Hips lift on high. Hands press down, heels press down. Taking your chest towards your knees. As you do that, your armpits might lower to the ground. Looking between your hands. Left foot through. Lift your gaze. Press your left right heel away. Then right foot through. Relaxing into your forward fold. Stretching and reaching all the way up and back. Looking between your hands. Hands come down. Inhale. Exhale. So one more round, flowing with the breath this time. So if you're able to align with the breath, please do. Hands relaxing, crown of your head lifting. Rest breath to start. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, stretch and reach up and back. Exhale, forward and down, fingertips in line with your toes on the mat. Inhale, right leg back. Lift your gaze, relax your hips. Exhale, left foot back. Down, face dog, hips lift on high, chest towards your knees. Inhale, forward to plank, shoulder blades relax down your back in plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhaling, toes tuck, hips lift on high, hands press down firmly into the mat. Inhale, right foot through. Letting your gaze lift, hips relaxing. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretch and reach up, our hands arc up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, Exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretch and reach up and back. Exhaling, forward and down. Inhale, left leg back. Hips relaxing. Exhale, right foot back. Hips now lifting high as your heels press down. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck. Our final down face dog, hips lifting high, chest towards your knees. Inhale, left foot through. Exhale, right foot through. Forward fold, relaxing with the exhale. Inhale, stretch and reach up and back. Exhale, hands down. So taking your feet apart, palms facing forward, a couple of breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Wonderful. Come to lying down on your mat, making sure you've got your belt somewhere close at hand. And then once you're lying down, let everything rest and relax. Feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from your body, palms turned up. Any discomfort in your lower back, you could keep your knees bent. So we're coming into the lying down section of the stretches. And this is a great section because if you have just been running or riding, then lying down, letting the ground take your weight is a great place to be. We'll start with a good stretch of our legs. Bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, and then picking up your right foot, looping the belt around the ball of your right foot, and then sending your foot away so your right leg ends up stretched out along the ground with your heel on the mat, keeping your left knee bent. Hold your belt so that your arms are straight, you're holding as close towards your foot as you can reach. Draw your toes up towards you so you're flexing your right foot, pressing your right knee down. So here we're prioritizing straightness, keeping your leg straight as on your next inhale, you lift that leg up towards the ceiling. Just bringing it as far as is comfortable for you, and once it's as high as it will easily go, reaching your hands up so you've got two straight arms, holding a belt loop in each hand close to your foot. Bringing your leg as high as your lower back is comfortable to go. If you've got any discomfort in your knee, you could put a small bend in there. Also, if you hyperextend, you'll want a little bend in that knee. Then we're going to use our breath. So from here, ease that leg back to its first biting point. So that's that point where you're starting to get the message, I don't really want to move much more, but it's not painful. And then use your breath, find more. Every inhale, ease the leg back to the next biting point. Every time you exhale, relax your upper body, especially your shoulders. Keeping that going every breath. Inhale, easing back to biting point, exhaling, relaxing. So every inhale, you should find your foot will move another couple of millimeters to your next biting point. Taking one more breath. Then pass both belt loops to your right hand, holding up as close to your foot as you can reach, extending your left arm out along the ground at shoulder height. As you next exhale, slowly let your leg drift out to the right, letting the belt slip through your fingers, bending your right elbow, so your right elbow comes on the ground, sending your left knee out to the left. So you're aiming to bring your leg as close as your left hip allows, so don't let your left hip lift off. And once you're here, you can then just relax and rest. Gravity will do the work for you. You're aiming to get a good stretch down the inside of your right leg. If your wrist feels a bit uncomfortable, make sure your wrist is straight and that you haven't bent your wrist as you hold the belt. Sending your left leg a little more to the left to get some stretch down the inside of your left leg. As you next inhale, bring your right leg back to the center. Reach up to take a belt loop in each hand and ease that leg back to its final biting point here. Then unleash your foot, let your right leg come down to the ground, stretch your left leg out just for a moment, checking in with how right and left leg feels. Then bend both knees, feet back to hip distance apart, picking up your left leg, looping the belt around your left foot, then stretching your left leg out along the ground. You're holding a belt loop in each hand with 2 straight arms, flexing your left foot, drawing your toes up towards your knee, pressing your left knee down. As you next inhale, bringing that straight leg up towards the ceiling. Reaching up to help to be holding a belt loop in each arm as close to your foot as you can reach. Hands are relaxed, easing that foot back to its first biting point and using your breath to find some more. Each inhale, finding a new biting point, each exhale, relaxing everything that you can, especially your upper body. One more breath, one more biting point. And pass both belt loops to your left hand, holding close up by your foot. Right arm extends out along, right arm out along the ground. Paying attention to your right hip and taking your left leg out to the left. Letting the belt slip through your fingers, bending your elbow, making sure that your wrist is straight. And then once your legs in place, just letting everything relax. Maybe pressing your left heel away, letting your right knee press down to the ground. So you're getting those stretches down the inside of both legs. Just taking one more breath, relaxing on the exhale. Then bringing that leg back to the center. Reaching up to grab a belt loop in each hand, easing that leg back to its final biting point. And then releasing the belt, lowering your left leg down, stretching your right leg out, placing the belt to one side, palms turn up by your side, and just taking a moment there. So the next thing we're going to take is a lying down twist to help us to remobilize the spine, having either run or having been in a fairly fixed cycling position. So to set up, bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you and stretching your arms out along the ground at shoulder height. So knees are bent. You can then pick up your right foot, placing your right ankle on your left knee, making sure that your hands are pressing away and your arms and shoulder blades are pressing down. So you get an anchor line at the top of your body, pressing into your left foot just so you can pick your hips up and move them at 2 or 3 inches to the right. Then as you next exhale, slowly taking your legs over to the left hand side. So let this twist develop slowly. You're aiming, if you can, to bring the outer edge of your left leg and the sole of your right foot onto the ground. If your legs are some way off doing that, then what you might want to do is just uncross your right leg and bring your right leg alongside your left so that your knees come back together, and then take both legs over to the side. Otherwise, if your right foot came onto the ground, you could then take your left hand onto your right knee and use your left hand to ease your knee down towards the ground. As you do that, you're getting a twist of your spine, and you're also getting a stretch of your ITB. That's what you're feeling down the outside of that right leg. So just bringing the knee down as far as your right shoulder blade allows. And once you come as far as you can easily get to, then use your next 2 or 3 breaths. Inhaling, press your right shoulder blade down. Exhaling, ease your right knee a little closer to the ground. So that's just deepening that stretch. And as you next inhale, release and bring both legs back up to the center. Uncrossing your right leg, bringing your hips back to the middle, feet hip distance apart. Picking up your left leg, placing your left ankle on your right knee. Moving your hips 2 or 3 inches to the left. And then as you next exhale, slowly taking both legs to the right hand side. Keeping your left shoulder blade in contact with the ground. If you manage to land down the outer edge of your foot, outer edge of your leg and your left foot, then take your right hand onto your right knee. If you're left suspended a little bit with your foot and knee lifted, then you could bring your legs alongside each other, taking both knees down to the side. Using your right hand, easing that knee down, keeping your left shoulder blade pressing down, feeling the twist develop, feeling the stretch in your ITB. Using your next 2 breaths, inhaling, press your shoulder blade down, exhaling, easing your knee closer to the ground. Releasing as you next inhale, bringing both legs back to the center, uncrossing your leg, bringing your hips back to the middle, and then stretching your legs out. Let your feet relax apart, bring your hands by your side, palms turned up. Just taking a couple of breaths there before we take bridge pose. Setting up for bridge pose, bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, hands by your side, palms turned down. Stretching your hands down, just seeing if you can graze your heel with the middle of your heel with your middle finger. That shows your feet are roughly in the right place. Making sure your feet are hip distance apart, and then bringing your toes slightly towards each other and tilting your tailbone up to the ceiling so your pelvis tilts towards you, and then starting to lift your hips towards the ceiling. So you're peeling your back away from the ground as you lift your hips. When you come as high as you comfortably can, pressing into your feet, you could press into your upper arms to lift more of your upper back away from the ground. As you do that, you'll maybe feel your hip bones lifting up and back. If it feels like the right thing for your shoulders at this point, you could interlace your hands underneath you and maybe roll your upper arms outwards and underneath, giving you a bit more height. Now focusing on pressing into your feet and upper arms, seeing if you can lift more of your back away from the mat. Can you lift your hips any higher? Keeping your breath steady and smooth. Taking one more good breath, seeing if you've got any more lift as you take it. Then if your hands are interlaced underneath you, moving them out to the side and slowly draping your spine back down, sending your hips towards your heels, so that you drape down from the top of your spine all the way to your hips. When your hips land, bring your knees up onto your chest, taking your hands around your knees or the back of your legs, taking a rock side to side. Bringing that rock to a halt, lifting your head to your knees, drawing your knees to your chest. Stretching out your upper and lower back as you do that. Releasing, landing your feet down, landing your head back down, and from there bringing yourself up to standing. Maybe rolling over to your right side to do that, or rolling up, coming to stand, ready for our ITB stretch. So feet hip distance apart, hands relaxed by your side, crossing your right foot over your left. Bringing your left hand onto your right hip. No, left hand onto your left hip. And then making sure that you're nice and straight, so that if you had a wall behind you, both your shoulder blades would be evenly on that wall. You don't have one shoulder or the other coming forward. Then when you're ready, tilting over to the left. Once you've tilted as far as you can go, you can start to press your right hip out to the right, starting to feel a stretch down the outside of that right leg and relaxing a little more to the left. Then we'll take a few more of those with our breath. As you inhale next, lifting back up to the center. As you exhale, tilting back to the left. Inhaling, press your hips to the right. Exhaling, relaxing left. Keeping your back leg straight, pressing into the ground. Inhale, come up. Exhale, retilt left. Inhale, right hip presses right. Exhale, relax left. Inhale, lift up. Final one. Exhaling, tilt left. Inhale, press your hips to the right. Exhale, relax more to the left. Inhale, coming back up. Uncrossing your legs, crossing your right leg over the left. Back leg straight, foot pressing into the ground, front knees bent, foot resting, relaxed on the ground. Left hip, this way, right hip on right hip, right hand on right hip. Then, relaxing to the right. So this is as if your right elbow has become quite heavy, pressing your left hip towards the left. Then bringing it back up, and we'll take it with the breath. As you exhale, tilting to the right. Inhale, press your left hip leftwards. Exhaling, relax more to the right. Inhale, coming back up. Exhaling, tilting back right. Inhale, press your left hip left. Exhale, relax right. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, relax to the right. Inhale, send your left hip left. Exhale, final one, relaxing right. Elbow heavy. Inhaling, lifting back up. Uncrossing your legs, taking your hands on your hips, feet hip distance, and take a rotate of your hips. Easing out where we stretch down the sides of the hips. Taking that rotate in the other direction. Then bringing that to a halt. And then coming to stand at the back of your mat, ready to bring ourselves back down to sitting. But on our way down, we're going to take a stretch of the Achilles. So with your feet hip distance apart, I'll come sideways on, just slowly start to sit yourself down, lifting your heels as you do. So you're coming into a squat, bringing your hips as close to your heels as you can, maybe resting on your heels, hands coming by your side, maybe bringing your fingertips down to the ground. So hold here if you can. If that's not comfortable on your ankles or your toes or anything else, then come out. But if you're able just to hold that for another couple of breaths, that's giving your Achilles a stretch, maybe pressing your heels down a little as you lift your chest. Then allowing yourself to sit back down, taking your hands behind you, stretching your legs out, ready for Paschimottanasana, another stretch of the legs. So really making sure that we are stretching out the legs. You might want to sit on a block for this, and you might also want to have your belt to hand just laid out, ready in case you want to use that to help you to ease forward. So sitting up straight, maybe sitting on a block or a cushion, taking your hands by your side, pressing into your fingertips so you can lift your chest. Starting to maybe just ease your upper body forward, thinking mainly about your abdomen, bringing your tummy button forward, and then lifting your arms up towards the ceiling. So really stretching tall. And as you next exhale, keep that up reach going as you hinge at the hips. If you find that you're not coming forward a huge amount, or you've got any discomfort in your lower back, then take a bend of your knees. Once you come as far forward as you can, let your hands drift down, either to take a hold of your legs, or you might want to take a hold of the belt. With your arms straight, hands as close to your feet as you can, and then we can ease a little more deeply into the stretch. As you inhale, ease your upper body forward towards your toes, especially easing your navel forward. As you exhale, let your upper body relax over your legs. Keeping that going with every breath. Inhale, ease forward. Exhale, relax down. Breath by breath, gradually lengthening your hamstrings. And it shouldn't feel in any way that you're forcing your way into this pose. It should feel like easing and relaxing in. Taking one more breath. And releasing your belt, stretching your arms out in front of you, pressing them forward, broadening your back as you do. As you next exhale, have a press forward. And as you inhale, make it a big one, lifting yourself back up. Exhaling, lowering your hands. Maybe taking a bit of a shake of your legs at that point. And then coming onto your front, ready to do a little more back stretching, just to make sure that the back is fully released after running or cycling. So we're going to start with a cobra. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tips of your fingers line up with the top of your shoulders, elbows coming in close. Making contact with the ground with your chin or forehead. Keeping your chin or forehead on the ground as you lift your shoulders up to the ceiling and down towards your feet. So a little up and back movement of your shoulders. Then as you next inhale, lift your face to look forward. As you next inhale, peel your chest away from the mat. Shoulder blades ease down your back, elbows coming close. Drawing your hands back against the mat, easing your chest forward. Keeping your breath steady and smooth. One more breath, one more lift as you take it. Then exhale as you lower yourself back down. Take a breath there. We'll take one more cobra. As you inhale, before we do that, taking your shoulders up and down towards your feet. Then as you inhale, lifting your face to look forward. Next inhale, slowly peeling your chest away from the mat. Shoulder blades ease back, elbows in close. Keeping your breath steady. One more breath. Exhaling, lowering back down. Bringing your hands underneath your forehead, resting your forehead onto your hands. Then bringing your hands down alongside your body and resting a chin or forehead onto the ground. Palms turned up. We're going to take locust pose. So as you next inhale, lifting your face so that you're looking forward. And then as you next inhale, press your hip creases down as you lift your legs away from the mat. So you're lifting your thighs away from the ground. And then lifting your chest, lifting your arms away from the ground. Keeping your breath smooth, lifting your shoulders, maybe seeing if you can stretch your hands more behind you, stretching your toes more behind you. Lifting your arms, lifting your legs if you can. Then as you exhale, lowering back down. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, resting forehead on hands. So we're going to take one more. If you are comfortable in bow pose, Dhanurasana, then you have the option here to take bow pose. Otherwise, take Salabhasana again, locust with your arms by your side. If you want to come into bow pose, then bend your knees so that your ankles are coming in towards you. Take your arms and stretch them forward, resting your chin or forehead on the mat for a moment. Press your hip creases down. That helps your knees to start lifting, bringing your ankles in closer. Then lift your face, lift your arms, and reach your arms all the way round and back. So your arms are stretching all the way, lifting your chest as they come round, seeing if you can find one ankle and then the other. If you don't find your ankles, then that's fine. You can either come to Salabhasana or have your knees bent, lifting your knees without your hands being connected to your ankles. If you've got a hold of your ankles, then lifting your chest. Maybe seeing if your knees can lift a little, pressing your ankles into your hands to help your knees lift, lifting your shoulders away from the mat, keeping your breath steady. Final lift of knees, lift of chest. Then as you next exhale, lowering back down, releasing your ankles, hands coming underneath your forehead, cheek or forehead onto your hands. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, coming up to hands and knees, and taking 2 or 3 rounds of cat-cow there just to ease out the back. Tilting your tailbone up to the ceiling, lifting your face to look up to the ceiling, letting the back of your waist relax down. As you exhale, tucking your head under, tucking your tailbone under, arching your back up. Keeping that going with your breath. As you inhale, lifting your face, lifting your tailbone. And as you exhale, everything's tucking under, arching your back to the ceiling. And then from here, so bringing that to a halt, from here we're going to take pigeon pose. Now, pigeon pose is a strong posture, but it is really helpful after running or cycling. So to prepare for pigeon pose, be on hands and knees with your wrists under your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Walk each hand forward 1 hand's length, and then bring your right knee forward behind your right hand. Then bring your right foot across so that it's in front of your left knee. I'm going to come sideways on. I'll come sideways on that way. Yes. Then send your left leg back, but do that in a way that means your hips are coming down evenly. It can be tempting to come over onto the right side, but you want your hips to be level and parallel with the ground. If at any point you've got any problems with your knees, then come out and I'll show you an alternative in just a moment. Once you're in this position, you just want to flex your right foot. So that means pressing the little toe side into the mat and drawing it up towards your knee, and then pressing the big toe side away from you. So you're just feeling your ankle activate, and that helps you to protect your knee. Then bringing your right hip crease, taking that back as you bring your left hip forward and down a little. You could then start to walk your hands slowly forward, bringing your upper body down over that right leg. Pay attention to your right knee. If that becomes painful, then come out. If you're feeling comfortable here, you might be able to come onto your elbows. You might be able to extend your arms out and bring your forehead to the ground. So if you hold here, relaxing with every exhale. If this isn't comfortable in full pigeon, then the alternative I'll show you now is to take eye of the needle, where you lie on your back. You pick up your right foot, placing your right ankle on your left knee, lifting your legs, then reaching through to thread your hands through behind your left thigh, easing your left leg back in towards you, pressing your right knee away, flexing your right foot up towards your knee. So that's the alternative to pigeon. So taking everyone in pigeon, just taking another 2 breaths. Still easing your right hip forward, your left hip forward, easing your right hip crease back to help you to get the alignment. And very slowly starting to bring yourself back, walking your hands back so that you're coming back up. So from here, if you've done enough, then you can come out. If you want to take a quad stretch from here, then making sure that you're firmly holding yourself with your hands in front of that knee. Bend your left knee. And if you've got your knee bent and your right hand is feeling stable, you might be able to reach your left arm around to catch a hold of your left foot. Then draw that heel into your buttock. If that's not happening, that's fine. Keep your left hip easing forward, keeping your chest lifted. Taking one more breath, then release that ankle. Bring your hands in front of you, palms on the ground. Tuck your left toes under, lifting your hips, taking your right foot back so that you're coming into down face dog, walking your dog out, alternately bending and straightening your knees. Then bringing your knees down to the ground, sitting back in child's pose for a moment. So hips to your heels, bringing your forehead down towards the ground. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, coming back to hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, then walking your hands forward one hand length. Bringing your left knee to come behind your left wrist. Bringing your foot across so that your left foot is in front of your right knee. Knowing that you can thread the needle if this isn't feeling right on this side. Sending your right leg back. As you send your right leg back, it's a bit of knee ankle action. Let your hips come down evenly. Flexing that left foot so you're drawing the little toe side up towards your knee, pressing the big toe side away. So you're feeling your ankle activate. Taking your left hip crease back, bringing your right hip forward and down. And if it's feeling okay, you can then slowly walk your hands forward. Just coming down as far as your hip is comfortable to go. You might be able to come onto your elbows. You might be able to stretch your arms out and bring your forehead to the ground. And I use the word might there. You might get cramp as well. Wherever you come to, then relax. If your knee comes uncomfortable, then come out. Still easing that right hip forward and down, your left hip crease back. Using your exhales as you breathe out, relaxing your shoulders, your chest, relaxing your hips. Taking one more breath there. Then slowly walking your hands back, coming back upright. If you've taken thread the needle, then you might want to take a standing quad stretch on this side. Similarly, if you found reaching your ankle was a challenge, then you might want to again come to standing and take a standing quad stretch where you bring your heel up to your buttock. If you're feeling stable here, bringing your left hand onto the ground, bending your right knee, bringing your right hand forward and then reaching around to see if you can make a contact with an ankle or a foot. This is where if you might want to have a belt handy to help you to do this. Drawing your heel into your buttock, getting a really good strong quad stretch there. Easing your hips forward, lifting your chest, allowing your shoulder to open, taking your shoulder back. One more breath. Then releasing your ankle slowly and gently, bringing your hands back in front, tucking your right toes under, lifting your right knee, lifting your hips, taking your left leg back, coming into down face dog. straightening and bending your knees to ease out. Then lowering your knees and coming to sit to kneel at the end of your mat, ready to stretch our hip flexors. So it's worth saying, now that we've done so many stretches, it's not necessary to do all of these after a run or a ride. And in fact, you shouldn't allow the fact that you won't have a whole hour to stop you doing the ones of these that seem the most relevant for how your body's feeling and what you need to stretch. So this stretch would be one for if your hip flexors are tight, coming into kneeling at the end of your mat, then bringing one foot forward. You might find that this is a bit strong on your knee, particularly if you've got hard floor, in which case you might want to just roll the back of your mat up or place a cushion under your left knee. Bringing your hands either side of your front foot, and then checking your ankle, making sure that you shuffle your foot forward as much as you need so that your ankle is in front of your knee. Letting your hips relax here. Then bringing your right hand onto your right knee. And keeping your hips low, start to press into that hand to lift your torso upright, bringing your other hand onto that knee. Knowing that you've got control here, bring your chest forward, the stretch in your left hip flexor eases. Take your chest back and it strengthens. So you can stay here, or if you want to make this stronger, you could take crescent moon. Lifting your hands up towards the ceiling, stretching your hands tall, and then taking your arms and armpits back, looking up between your hands, relaxing your hips low as you stretch your arms up. Then if you're looking up, look forward. Exhaling, bringing your hands back down either side of that front foot. Pressing into your front foot to lift yourself back up and bringing that right knee back. Preparing for the other side, taking your left foot forward. Hands coming down either side of that foot. Shuffling your foot forward to make sure your ankle is in front of your knee. Letting your hips relax. As you let your hips relax, you'll get that first feeling of stretch in your right hip flexor. Then keeping your hips low, left hand on your left knee, pressing into that hand to come upright, taking your other hand onto your knee. Relaxing your hips here. Maybe bending your front knee a little more to give you more stretch. If this is enough, then please do hold here. If you'd like to make this stronger, lift your arms up towards the ceiling, stretching them high. Then as you next inhale, tilt your chest up to the ceiling, lifting your gaze up between your hands, taking your arms back, relaxing your hips down as you do that, crescent moon. Taking one more breath, relaxing your hips down on the exhale. Then looking forward and bringing your hands back down either side of that foot. Pressing into that foot to lift back up and bringing that foot back by your side. From there, coming to sitting with your legs stretched out. We're going to take a twist. So we did the lying down twist. This is a twist just to let us fully stretch out the top of the spine. So you might want to sit on a block for this. And with your legs stretched out, bring your right foot over your left leg, drawing that foot up by your left knee. Taking your hands onto your knee, drawing your knee in towards you, lifting your chest up and towards your knee. Then taking your right hand behind you, pressing your fingertips into the ground so you're keeping your upper body straight. And with your left arm, you might want to take a slightly firmer grip around that leg So that as you next exhale, you take your chest around to the right, pulling gently on that leg, easing it over to the left-hand side. Taking your chest as far around as it will go, and then taking your gaze over your shoulder, making sure that your chin is level. Taking your right shoulder back a little more to help your chest ease around. And then using your breath as you inhale, press into your backhand straightening, and as you exhale, ease yourself around a little more. Feeling the twist in your spine and the stretch in your right glute that's also giving your piriformis a stretch. One more breath. Then release, bringing yourself back to the front. Straightening out your right leg, taking a shake, and bringing your left foot then over the right. Taking a hold of your knee, drawing it to your chest, lifting your chest towards your knee. Then taking your left hand behind you. Fingertips pressing into the ground, good grip of that knee. Then when you're ready, starting to take your chest around to the left. Take your shoulder back with you. Taking your gaze over your left shoulder with your chin straight and level. Drawing your left knee across a little more over to the right. Then using your breath, inhale, pressing into your backhand, re-straightening. Exhale, easing round a little more. Taking one more good breath there. As you then next exhale, release, bring yourself back around to the front. Straighten your legs, take a shake. And then from there, we've just got one posture left. So bringing yourself to standing. So in this set of stretches, we have moved our spine in all directions. We've taken it forward, we've taken it backwards, we've twisted it left, we've twisted it right. There's just the side bend left to do, just to make sure we've fully mobilized our spine. So we're going to take that with a Trikonasana triangle pose, taking your feet wide but not to your max, just a nice stable width apart. Bringing your hands onto your hips, turning your left foot in and your right foot out. Then just guide your hips gently round back so they're facing a little bit more towards the long edge of your mat. Lifting your left arm up towards the ceiling. As you lift your left arm, press your left foot down. So you're stretching down the whole left side of your body. Then bring your right hand onto your thigh. Stretching up with your left hand, start to slowly tilt over to the right, letting your right hand drift down your leg, keeping your back nice and level, so if there was a wall behind you, both shoulder blades will be pressing equally against it. When you've tilted over as far as you can, then start to press your fingertips to the wall on your left. Keeping that left foot pressing firmly into the ground, and then using your breath. As you inhale, press your left foot down. As you exhale, relax a little more to the left. To the right. Then as you next inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. Exhale to lower the left hand, hands on hips, feet face forward. Then turning your right foot in, your left foot out. Bringing your hips round to face this way. Bringing your left hand, lifting your right hand. Stretching your right hand higher as you press your right foot down more firmly. Then taking your left hand onto your thigh, reaching up with your right hand as you slowly tilt to the left. Left hand drifts down your leg. When you've come as far as you can, really focus on taking your fingertips to the wall on your left. Beginning to use your breath so that as you inhale, your fingertips press more to the left. As you exhale, you relax down to the left. And as you next inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. Exhale, lowering your hands. Hands on hips, feet face forward, heel toe your feet back together. And then from there, we're going to come to a final relaxation. And we're going to do this final relaxation with our legs up the wall. Because elevating the legs is an ideal thing to do after they have worked hard, and it also makes for a good, calming final relaxation. So there is a technique to getting your legs up the wall. So you might want to bring your mat so that it's alongside the wall or door that you're going to use. If you're using a door, make sure the door opens into the room that you're in, so that it doesn't suddenly open whilst your legs are up it. Sitting just a little bit to one side of your mat and bringing your hip right up by the wall or door. So your hip is touching whatever it is that you're going to be taking your legs up. Then taking your hands behind you. And then it's a little bit of a multi-action move, because what you're going to do is you're going to slowly sit back as you then lift your legs, as you twiddle yourself around, so that you ideally end up with your legs up the wall and both your buttocks touching the wall. That might take a little bit of shuffling. So Angelique, if you sit with your hips sideways onto the wall rather than your back to the wall.
Yeah, I'm going to use this wall.
Oh, I see, sorry. I will leave you to it.
The wall doesn't shut properly.
And then once you have your legs up the wall, bring your hands by your side, palms turned up. You might just want to lift your head away from the ground, tuck your chin down to your chest, and then lay the back of your head back onto the ground. So you might want to take your final relaxation like this. Alternatively, you might want to bring the soles of your feet together, allowing your joined feet to drift down the wall. That can, for some, be a relaxing posture. If you wanted to get a cheeky extra stretch here, you could also press your knees away from you. So you can either stay here, you can have your legs straight up the wall, whatever you find to be the most comfortable, and then closing your eyes, letting your shoulders relax. Making any final just adjustments or shuffles so that you are comfortable against the ground. And then allowing yourself to enter relaxation. Maybe using your out breath to help your upper body relax a little more firmly against the ground. Knowing that there's nothing you need to do except relax. And if for any reason this isn't your most comfortable posture, do feel free to bring yourself out and come into a normal Shavasana, lying out on your mat. So I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to go quiet whilst you rest, let go, relax. Holding still for a few more moments. Bring your awareness and attention back. Take your arms up above your head, stretching your arms away from you. If you've got your knees bent, you might want to straighten your legs, sending your legs back up the wall so that your arms are stretching away above your head, your heels are pressing up towards your ceiling. So you're getting a little bit of an awakening stretch. And then releasing that stretch, bending your knees so that your knees come down to your chest, taking your arms around your knees, drawing them in close, lifting your head up towards your knees for a final stretch of your upper back. And then taking your head down. There's no easy way to get out of this. The most practical way is to, with your knees on your chest, go down to one side or the other, making sure you've got some space so that you find yourself lying back on your side. And then bring yourself back up slowly to sitting. Sitting against your wall or door, stretching your legs out, or cross-legged, whatever's comfortable. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about the technical hitches. Really nice to see you all. Namaste. I'm just going to stop the recording and unmute you. Thank you.